Bright Tuty. Every student matters.
Hello everyone. So moving to the second aspect of the chapter is the relationship with other disciplines of sociology. So all the social science disciplines, how are they related to the sociology, or how is sociology having what kind of relationship with the other disciplines is what we are going to talk about now. So now sociology is a social science because it studies human society, but it is not the only social science. We have several aspects of social science. All of them have one thing in common, that they all study human society and human behavior. But sociology and other social sciences are distinct and autonomous sciences because each of them have their own specific subject matter and their own specific subject scope. And that is what makes it distinctive in nature. Moving ahead, they are all having distinctive approaches and perspectives. So all of these disciplines do have distinctive approaches, they have distinctive perspective. Despite their distinctiveness, all social sciences are essentially related because all of them contribute to an understanding of human society as a whole, and therefore they contribute to one another. So you can't study economy alone, you can't study politics alone, you can't study education alone, you can't study, let's say, health alone. All of these aspects are very, very interrelated. However, they are studied under different spheres of social sciences, but their interrelation is what keeps them connected. In fact, at present, many scholars undertake interdisciplinary studies and make use of data and conclusions provided by other social sciences. Even when we are teaching you in the classes, we do take the interdisciplinary approach so that you're able to relate to the context, or you're able to relate to the content in a better way, and there's this interdisciplinary approach being used to explain that to you. Now here we shall explore the relationships that sociology has with other disciplines, especially with history, political science, economics and social anthropology. So starting with history and sociology. So history is the record of past and deals with the past of human society. They seek records, reconstruct and understand the past of the society. Thus, the subject matter of history is human society. Therefore, history is social science like sociology. So, history is something that we all know related to the past. It is something wherein when you have the relationship with the past, you talk about it deals with how the human beings were there in the past. Records, orders, seek the records. You have to go back to those records, build on, reconstruct your study on that records and understand the past of the society, and hence becomes a social science aspect. But understanding about what are the differences, so sociology is concerned about the present and to some extent with the past. But history is only concerned with the past. Therefore, this is the basic difference in between sociology and history, which is in their time frame. Now, sociology is concerned with events or social phenomena. It seeks to know the interrelationships between the events and to discover the patterns in order to find causal relationships between them. However, history wants to describe as accurately as possible the events of the past. So basically, history is trying to describe the events of the past, whereas sociology is trying to see the interconnectedness or the interrelationships between the events and to discover the patterns in order to find the casual relationships between them. So herein, yet they're trying to describe events, they're trying to they're trying to describe and give the information about the events as accurately as possible, wherein these are the interrelationships seen between the events out here. So it seeks to find out how events are related in a time sequence. You must have talked about the kind of chronology that we have, the kind of chronology that we follow when we talk about history. You do have mind maps, you do have a whole sequential understanding of the events that had followed in the past. So sociology, on the other hand, deals with the regular and recurrent events or the phenomena. It wants to cover the general pattern. It is generalizing science and also analytical science. However, history studies a particular individual or an event, investigates unique and individual events, and that is what makes it historical. Therefore, it is particularizing or individualizing disciplines. It can also be a descriptive discipline wherein you are describing, you are kind of giving all the information possible about the individuals and the events that have taken place. Thus, sociology and history are distinct and autonomous because of the time frame of their investigation and the approaches of their investigation. Now, it is not just that it has differences, it has relationships as well. Though they are distinct, they are essentially related because both are interested in the study of human society. But this relationship is a matter of debate with regard to the methodological issues, because history has another methodology that is being followed, and sociology has a different methodology that is being followed. In early 1960s, E.H. Carr argued that history could adopt sociological perspectives and would enrich the historical studies. He said that, history should adopt the sociological perspectives, and with that help, and because of the help of the same, history will enrich, and the history will enrich the historical studies. But historians did not accept this view. Now, herein we see that at present, the relationship between sociology and history is as follows. It is not just there are differences, but we have relationships as well. So, many sociologists realize that the present society cannot be understood without investigating into the past. There is the need of understanding the past while you are trying to understand the present, and that is what is being described here. Therefore, we have made use of historical data in our studies and has given rise to the historical sociology. So, when you're trying to understand some of the present day concept which has the relation in the past is what is being talked about in the historical sociology. Many historians have adopted the sociological perspective in their studies because, according to them, an event cannot be understood without the reference to the other event of that particular time, and hence that has given rise to what is known as the social history. So herein there are adaptations that have taken place from historical aspects to the sociological aspect, and from sociological aspects to the historical aspects, and that is how the relationship has been seen. So in conclusion, it may be said that sociology and history are two distinct social sciences because of their time frames and approaches, but at the same time are essentially related because both deal with the human society and social relationships, and therefore both cooperate with each other and enrich each other. Moving on to the next aspect of discussing about the sociology and political sciences, we see that political sciences is known as the science of government. It studies the political institutions such as state, government, legislative, executive, judicial institutions, and also deals with the behavior of people in power. So when you're dealing with the behavior of the people in power, you are again relating to the people and you're again relating to the humans in the society. In fact, the concept of power is central to it, and the political science can also be defined as the study of power. So power is the ability of a person or a group to control and influence the behavior of others despite their resistance. Authority is the legitimate power. Authority is the legitimate power, as in authority is the legal power that you get. If you hold some position, let's say if you hold a position of an SHO, you have some kind of an authority, you have some kind of a legal power attached to your position. Now this is vested in people or persons or the group through accepted means like elections. Now power relations and authorities, which are subject matter of political science, are essentially aspects of human society. So this power, this authority, all of these are the aspects of the human society and hence makes a very, very major relation with sociology. So let us first understand what are the differences between sociology and political science. We see that sociology defines or studies all aspects of social aspects or all the social aspects, but political science restricts itself to the study of power as embedded in the formal organizations like the government and the state. So this is studying of all the aspects of the all the social aspect, whereas it is limited to the study of only power, that too embedded in the formal organizations. Sociology has its focus on the interrelations between the institutions such as state, government and political parties, but political science focuses on the governmental process. How is it going in direction? How is the state working? How is the government working? How is the political parties working? Moving ahead to what are the relationships or what are the similarities that are seen in political science and sociology. So political science studies power and the power relations and the governmental processes, wherein sociology is also interested in the study of power relationships in the wider social context. For example, they have explained that sociology studies the processes which enable a group to secure and wield power. This interface between sociology and political science is known as the political sociology. When you understand that sociology is also trying to understand the power dynamics, the sociology is also trying to understand the power relationships, it is just that it is done in the wider social sphere. In India, a major part or the major area of study in political sociology has been the role of case in politics in general and elections in particular. In conclusion, it may be said that sociology and political science are two distinct social sciences, but at the same time, they are essentially related because both deal with the human behavior and the society. They also cooperate with each other and enrich each other, like we have talked about it, and this has given rise to discipline called political sociology as well. Moving further to the concept of sociology and economics. Now, economics is the study of production, distributions, exchange and the consumption of goods and services in the society. Economics studies how human beings fulfill their needs by managing the resources available to them, and such needs are unlimited while resources are limited. So how is there this relationship and how are people able to manage this out is what economics tries to study. Therefore, there is a need to manage them or to economize them with them. Thus, economics deals with the economic activities in human society, and hence economics is the social science like sociology. Talking about what are the differences, so economics majorly studies about the economic activities, the relationships of the organizations in the society, though these are all social realities, but is limited, has a scope only and only towards the economic activities. On the other hand, sociology studies the social activities. All the social activities are imbibed in there. Economic theory explains social realities only from the economic perspective. For example, the Adam Smith explains the division of labor that came into existence because of the mass production of goods. But on the other hand, Emily Durkheim says that the division of labor came into existence because of the transformation of a simple society into a complex society. Now herein Durkheim is trying to talk about from a sociological perspective, but Adam Smith here is trying to talk about the same thing from an economical perspective, wherein the production, the mass production is involved, and herein there is this transformation of simple society to the complex society is involved. So according to him, social organization is in a simple society is mechanical, which is, while in the complex society is organic and requires an elaborate division of labor. When you talk about mechanical society or mechanical sociology, it is more like a homogeneous set of people. It is like people with similar occupations and not having any kind of conflict, no conflict involved. But on the other hand, when you talk about complex societies and you talk about the organic solidarity or you talk about the organic sociology, it talks about a heterogeneous societies where you do see interdependence of one over the other. You do see a lot of interaction because of the same reasons, and because of that you do find conflicts as well, and that is what is defined as the organic society. Moving on to the relationships that these two have among themselves. So sociology is also interested in economic activities. In fact, there is a branch of sociology called the sociology of economic life, which studies the social aspects of income, occupation, consumption, and so on. However, economics also has benefited from sociology because it has begun to take into account the social dimensions of economic activities as well into its consideration. Now, basically, in conclusion, we can say that it may be that sociology and economics are two distinct social sciences. At the same time, they are essentially related because both deal with the study of human society and both cooperate with each other and enrich the experience that each other has. Moving on to another discipline of relating it to the sociology is the social anthropology. Now, anthropology is broadly defined as the study of man and his work. We are trying to study the man and his work there. It studies both the biological and socio-cultural aspects of man and his work from very ancient prehistoric times of the modern times. Thus, anthropology has very extensive and varied subject matter, and there are different branches of anthropology. There's not one branch of anthropology. Because it is so varied, there are different branches of anthropology. Now, talking about the branches of anthropology, one is the physical or the biological anthropology, which talks about aspects of evolution and races of mankind, especially related to mainly related to the biological sense. Prehistoric archaeology and archaeology archaeological anthropology, which is related to the prehistoric past of the mankind, what all has happened in the mankind, what all has taken place in terms of what all happenings were there in the past. That is what it caters to. And the aspect of social anthropology, which deals with the social and the cultural aspects. This branch is also known as the cultural anthropology in America. Now, talking about social anthropology, it deals with the social organizations of simple society. How in simple societies the things are organized, how people out there are organized, the groups and the stratas are organized, is what social anthropology talks about. Because of its interest in social organizations, social anthropology is a social science but is very, very close to sociology. Now, it is important for us to understand what are the differences in the aspect of social anthropology and sociology. Now, starting with the first one, social anthropology studies tribal, peasants, pre-literate societies in the world. That is, majorly the past, the historic things that has taken place. However, sociology studies complex, modern and urban industrialized societies, something which is modern, something which is there at present, something which is having an evolution at present is what sociology deals with. Sociology makes use of various methods and use the social survey as its chief method. However, social anthropology makes use of participant observation as its chief method of data collection. So, the methods, there is a difference in the methods of data collection which makes them distinct or which makes them different from each other. It is said that social anthropology studies other cultures while sociology deals with only one's own society. Such a distinction was possible when European and American scholars studied simple societies found outside their countries. But in India, such a distinction is not clear because of the continuity between the tribal and the non-tribal communities, rural and urban population. So we do have it as a part of social anthropology wherein you are able to distinguish the other culture, wherein you are able to see that, okay, now you're studying about the different culture, wherein they have taken an example of the Europeans and the American scholars studying the different tribes or the different the simple societies found outside their countries. But herein, if we take in case of India, we see a continuum, we see a continuity even if it is tribal, non-tribals, rural, urban. It is not something that we can study in isolation. It is not something that I can put a full stop like, okay, rural society got over there and urban society started from here. And that is what makes a very major aspect of sociology. Therefore, in India, there is practically no difference between sociology and social anthropology because there are no clear-cut divisions of the system. Moving to the relationships, both study society in as a holistic manner, both are comparative in nature, they accept each other's conclusions, therefore despite the differences, they are close to each other. That in India, the distinction between them has become completely blurred. So that is what describes the four major disciplines of social sciences with sociology, one being history, the political science, the social anthropology and the economics.